Let me walk you through the development process of coming up with a cover for Kidsville News. I begin by doing all kinds of random sketches. The spring in the lower left-hand corner of this drawing began the process of me thinking, what if we put springs on the bottom of his feet for springtime and had our mascot Truman jumping up in the air? I very quickly abandoned the spring idea but kept the jumping up in the air idea. If I had his arms loaded down with summertime activities, then I would be showing him springing into springtime. Here I'm working on 3 pieces of paper at this point and turning this one over, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, erasing and tracing each time. I also get the left analytical side of my brain in the works, trying to think of a list of all the summertime activities I could think of. So here I'm beginning to refine the sketch, tracing on one side of the paper on a light table, turning it over. Here's his background that I began working on a little bit, the shed there with the winter skis and the snow shovel stashed away for the summer. This is my next to the last sketch, and here's the final sketch with him facing the right direction, all tight and all the details worked out. Now I blow that drawing up on my printer, and then cover the back with charcoal, in a sense making a do-it-yourself carbon paper. Then I lay the carbon paper down on a piece of illustration board and trace the entire drawing again with a red ballpoint pen so I can tell where I've been, and the image gets transferred to the illustration board. Can you see it very faintly there? Then I draw the whole thing with with brush and ink, and then come back with pen and ink, a rapidograph pen, doing the cross-hatching, adding a lot of texture and details and interest shading to the drawing. It's a pretty tedious process. I ask myself many times, why did I start doing it that way? But it makes for a very fun and visually interesting and stimulating illustration. When that's finished, I cover the entire drawing with what is called frisket film. It's sort of like low-tack Scotch tape. Then take an X-Acto knife and begin to cut out each and every little tiny piece of the illustration. That's pretty tedious work as well. I use a regular X-Acto knife for the straight lines and a swivel-headed X-Acto knife for the tight curves. Just about finished there. Then I finally begin the process of airbrushing. Airbrushing sometimes with a handheld mask, sometimes freehand. I'm using a fine liquid acrylic paint in my airbrushes to apply the color. I've skipped over a whole bunch of work here. I'm finished airbrushing and I'm peeling the frisket off the drawing. It's always kind of exciting. It's like Christmas time unwrapping a gift to see what it looks like when I take all the frisket off. And there's always some areas that I've missed. In this case, for the first time ever, I think I actually missed part of Truman. He was carrying so many things that I failed to notice I hadn't painted one of his arms. Sometimes the problem is not that I missed a spot, but that a piece of frisket accidentally got pulled up and it got painted over and over and over again, so it's too dark. So here I've had to come back with an opaque, light colored paint, get that flower the color just that I want, and there, that works. It was awfully nice for someone to invent sticky notes for us airbrush artists. They're a great tool. One of the last things I'll do is come back with a rapidograph pen and darken up some of the little lines that have been missed with the airbrush. Then I'll use often a colored pencil to clean up certain areas. This was a bad spot right on Truman's face. Come back with ink and finally dark red colored pencil to finish that spot in his mouth, and that's pretty good. Applying a few final touch-ups with opaque white paint and final details on Truman's eyes, and I'm all done. There's the final illustration. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.